Too much pressure. So who's putting on too much pressure? Me as the teacher, or their parents, or their peer group? What can I do to intervene to try to take off some of that pressure? Okay. Too much time required. So it just takes up too much time. Overemphasis on winning. I can control it. If I'm the coach, I can suggest that that's not the goal. Lack of fun, lack of progress, lack of success. All tie up with what kind of environment do I create when I'm trying to teach new skills. Right? Is there only one way to do the skill? Never. Never, ever, ever, ever. Doesn't matter what skill you look at, there's never only one way to get there. Right? And how many options do I give them to take their time to learn the skill, or do I expect everybody to learn it at the same time? Right? These are the kinds of errors that we make when we're teaching that lead some children to drop out. When they drop out, it's very hard to get them back, particularly if they're dropping out for a negative reason. Because why would they come back? Because they already decided it wasn't a very nice place to be.
Were there statistics for boys versus girls on that?
On the dropout, I haven't seen them. I suspect, given the fact that we have a bigger problem with girls than we do with boys, that we're looking at certainly these two being more girls than boys.
Probably the coach.
I guess.
So probably the coach too. Yeah, like the coach.
Dislike of the coach, more girls than boys.
Yeah.
What?
I feel like it.
We're very easy to get on with.
Oh, okay.
We get on with everybody. Jeez. All right, so just a little bit what we do on the playground, our mastery climate. Dr. Parrish gave that lecture that we watched in lab. That would be a student-centered approach. Right? And if you look at your book, they mention some other information that Dr. Parrish published on how do I do that with young children. And there's lots of information on student-centered approaches to older children in PE. So how do I give the students more autonomy in the PE room? The other idea is a teacher-centered approach, and what we see with a teacher-centered approach is that the instructor designs the environment. Well, that's the same. We still design the environment. It's very purposeful in a mastery climate, right? But they choose when to progress the students to the next task. So I might have 5 stations set up in the PE room, but we move to the next station when I say so. Or I have you all split up and we rotate when I say. Right? That has shown to be highly successful with improving skills. So if I'm actually checking off skill development, a teacher-centered approach also works very well. What we don't know quite so much is, does a teacher-centered approach really improve physical activity as much as a student-centered approach? We know that this increases activity levels. And we don't have any comparative studies, which always interests me. Right? There really isn't information out there that says which of these two is really the best. Okay? So I'm not saying one, I prefer this personally. It's easier to manage if I'm only one teacher, if I let the kids go wherever. On the other hand, on this one, I can guarantee they go to every station and they try every skill. Whereas on the playground, sometimes they go, I don't want to try that skill. Right? So there's pros and cons to both approaches, but we don't know which one is technically best right now. This one gives the kids more autonomy, maybe more motivational than this one where they're being told what to do. Okay,
So they have to know that chart.
to know everything.
Okay.
It's an exam. Adult activities, personal incentives, sense of self, perceived options. Right, so these are the three factors that interrelate to decide or that drive me to be physically active or not physically active as an adult. Right? Personal incentives. So I want to have mastery of a particular skill. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. I have a really awful, stressful job, and the only way I can cope with that stress is to make sure that I go out and walk every day. Right? What are my personal incentives for taking part in physical activity? Sense of self, we come back to that self-esteem. Even if I have the incentives, if my perceived competence at physical activity, my self-esteem is low, I may not choose to be physically active, even if I know it's going to help me with work. Perceived options. So what options do I have to move, given a particular environment or set of circumstances? Is walking safe in the environment? If there's a really great yoga program for yoga balance program for adults, right? We have a cool stretch and balance for our older community people that we run here on Tuesday and Thursday morning as part of Lifelong Wellness. That's a brilliant opportunity to socialize and do something that's very good for you. What if they can't get here, right? What I don't do with Lifelong Wellness is have a little bus and drive around town and pick people up and bring them to class, right? The people who come are the people who can get here, because I don't have enough time to be driving around town to go get them. So that's a downfall of our program, but it's better than not having a program available. So some of the things that might limit adults when you talk to them, what's appropriate. So we go back to that social, cultural acceptance of what's appropriate. Access to facilities and programs. So if there isn't a program running, if we don't have, so in town, a swimming pool we could really do with another swimming pool in town. Because the only pools in town are the one on campus and the outdoor pool that is only open for 8 weeks of the year. So what about people who have arthritis who would really benefit from using a pool but can't get to the one on campus, or the opening times for the one on campus don't work for them? We don't have any other facility for those people to be physically active in town. Another pool would be great, right? But they're expensive. Not only are they expensive to build, they're hugely expensive to run. So it's not going to happen in Portales anytime soon, because this town doesn't have any money. Right? It's a shame, because it would help a lot of people, right? What are my personal limitations? What do I think I can do? What's going to hurt? What's not going to hurt? lack of role models. We don't do a very good job of showing senior sport on the telly. It's getting a little bit better. The tennis guys are getting out there. There's regular senior tournaments during the year for tennis, and they're doing a better job of showing those at least on dedicated tennis channels. Right, but not everybody has access to those. Okay. What about role models? So if we don't show them, then people don't know what they can and can't do. Right? So we have a Senior Olympics every 4 years, runs after the regular Olympics, same as the Special Needs Olympics. But we don't get to see those on the telly. Once the regular Olympics is done, we don't get to see very much. Right? So this lady is playing table tennis, and she's 99. Right? 99, and she's playing table tennis. Right? This guy down here is 81, and he won the gold in his particular weight category at Senior Olympics 1 year.
What sport do you go to?
It looks like he's snatching something.
What sport do you go to?
This lady, you'll like this one, Allie. This lady is doing the hammer. She's 100 years old. I say is, she was. This article is a little old, so I suspect that. Right? So, wouldn't it be really cool if we showed this so that people who were in their 70s and 80s knew that if they keep moving, look what's possible. Right? Rather than getting to 85 and everybody expecting me to sit in my chair at home and play cards. Because that's safe. We don't want you to fall over there, you just, right, stay safe, okay? Right, so role models are important if we expect people to persist and stay healthy. All right, so it is 20 to 12. Let's take 5 minutes. I'll get the review stuff up. You guys can come back and start working on your reviews.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was
Huh?
I didn't know that there was a whole person special.
There you go. See, isn't that cool?
But I feel like there would be a bunch of like college students that would just watch us and just laugh.
Well, that says more about the college students, I think, than it does about the senior people participating in the Olympics. Okay, well, and we'll film it. It'll be on YouTube.
Have a good one.
All right, where's my paper? Uh-oh. My list is on.
Dr. Watt, did you get all the projects graded? You gotta pass that out next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Or-
What you doing, drawing? What you doing, drawing?
Oh, yeah.
I said, you ain't had your notebook out the whole time. I said, you ain't had your notebook out the whole time. I know you want to take it to the middle.
I'll write down the reviews.
Yeah. She writing kind of small.
You send me on this.
Well, I didn't know you could get this problem.
Right, see why?
That's not our school, it's Cory's stuff.
All right, everybody's brain cells ready? We're filming it, so it will be up on YouTube. Save you guys photo. So this is my suggestion for when you're looking at the chapter and the activities at the end of the chapter. Doesn't mean that the other information is not also useful, but this would be my suggestion. If given a limited time, this is my suggestion, right? I've got stuff here if you want to do learning exercise 10.1, 1 and 2. I have sunglasses that are covered up and balls, and I have my scarf. You can do walking down the hallway blindfold. So that's always a good piece of fun. I don't have any earplugs in my office, so I couldn't do number 3. Right? As I say, this is when you're looking at the labs. It's up to you if you actually collect the data on the labs, but I would look at the lab and really consider what is that trying to help you learn. When I look at the lab questions, when I look at the instructions and the activities, what are they trying to make me think about that's relevant to the chapter? Right? I think collecting the data would be more fun personally, but that's up to you. So, get into groups. We've got 15, 20 minutes. Make a start so that if you've got any specific questions on a particular concept, you can give me a yell, I can help you out.